Hi,
Okay, we're recording, Erin.
this is exciting.
Yeah, so do you want to start off by just saying your name, how you know me, and just a little about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Erin Fedorko. I'm Kenny's cousin, favorite cousin, probably the best.
Yeah.
um, I work at a psychiatric hospital. Um, and I have a psych degree, so I've been using that. And
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So what's going on over there?
well, we just got like a message this morning stating that we have different buildings, and one of our buildings, a bunch of people have tested positive for coronavirus.
Oh God. Now these are
So
kids, right? These are all kids.
kids and staff. So the staff have tested positive and they're in close relationship with the kids at all times. So I'm sure everybody in that building has coronavirus.
Do you have it?
No, I don't think so. I haven't gotten tested. But
Uh-oh.
like it's a separate building, so I'm in contact with no one from there. And they said that if you were in contact with someone, then they would let you know, but I think I'm okay.
I've gotten tested like the last few, like every week for the last like 2 or 3 weeks, and it's weird. They take this pipe cleaner and they shove it up your
Yeah.
nose and they
Don't
twist
you
it like,
hold it there for a while too?
yeah. The last woman who did it to me, like she like kept it in there and kept twisting it. She twisted like 5 times.
Are you
Yeah.
positive?
Uh no, 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 no. I'm healthy. I'm the last time I checked. I need to go online and check again.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything down here in Florida is. Oh, yeah. So can you say where you are?
Oh, I'm in Pittsburgh.
Mhm. So most of our family, like half of our family lives in Pittsburgh. The
Yeah.
Fedorko side of my family lives in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So in like where Allegheny County just had to is shutting everything down as of today again for a week because we have like 268 new cases just 2 weeks after reopening.
In Allegheny County. Yeah,
Yeah.
in Florida, it's like 10,000 cases in one day, just like the whole state. But it's not in Sarasota. Like Sarasota County is really not bad. It's
Yeah.
like Miami, South Florida is like they're. I don't even know what the mortality rate is though. Like I know that there are a lot of positive cases, but
I think
yeah,
hospitalizations for it are still low though. Like a lot of new people are testing positive, but like how many are being hospitalized? How many are dying? Like there's so many factors before just shutting everything down.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like what?
Yeah.
Like it makes me wonder about the tests. Like, are the tests shooting out like a lot of false positive results? You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Like, is it just kind of like erring on the side of caution? And like, how many people are actually healthy that have a positive result?
Yeah.
I don't know. How are your parents handling it?
They're fine. I don't like my mom. Yeah, there's really no like fear of it at my house because like through the entire quarantine we've been working, like all three of us, so it has seemed like very normal. There was never like a stopping point for all of us. It was all just keep going to work every day. So my mom is more into it than like my dad and I. My mom is always watching the news and stuff, and my dad and I are just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I talked to your dad for a long time on the phone the other day, and we were commiserating about Bernie Sanders and how the whole Democratic Party is like completely like a clown show. And
Oh yeah, I was just watching or listening to this podcast. It's Dax Shepard. He does a podcast called Armchair Expert, and he interviewed a um economist. Economist, I
yeah,
don't know.
Economist. Uh-huh.
And he did a lot of stuff for Bernie Sanders. And it was just interesting because I know, like, hearing socialist and people fearing it, and then to have someone just actually who studies it break it down, because both Dax Shepard and his co-host Monica, they were both like, yeah, we watched him on 60 Minutes and he was just saying like, oh, this is going to be free, but didn't really go into detail of how to make it free or like the way it's going to work. And this guy did it so easily. I was like, oh, yep. Especially when it came to healthcare. I was amazed because he was talking about how like currently healthcare is bankrupting us. And he was like, people think that it's just great and that we can afford to just keep doing it. And he was like, we can't afford to keep doing this. What we can't afford to do is what Bernie Sanders wants. He said that's really what we can't afford to do. It's the only thing we can afford to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
I think a big issue that a lot of people don't really think about is like I would say the majority of I would say a large group of people who like vote or who kind of cue into the political dialogue. They watch like the debates on CBS and stuff, and like those candidates are given like only like 30-second responses, 1 minute talks. Like there's no way that you could actually have a legitimate substantive conversation about anything meaningful in a minute, and so like, but like Bernie Sanders went on Joe Rogan, which I've been like talking about Joe Rogan on like almost every video, but I don't really watch Joe Rogan. I really don't.
Neither do I, but I know that like any person that he interviews at some point, he just asks them, have you done DMT? Have you done drugs? What, like he's obsessed with drugs and knowing if people have done psychedelics.
Oh, interesting. There's that interesting psychedelic. Did you see that documentary on? It wasn't a documentary. It's just kind of like a series of interviews on Netflix about psychedelics.
No.
It's called "Have a Good Trip." It was really good.
Oh yeah, I've seen that, but I haven't watched it. Have a good trip. I'll have to watch it. He also, my dad just said Joe Rogan also just did an interview with Jon Stewart. That was really good.
Does your dad watch Joe Rogan?
Yeah, not like religiously, but he did watch when people that he likes was interviewed by him.
So what do you think of like everything that's going on with politics and I mean, yeah, where do you stand on
it's wild right now.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to voting for this election, I have no idea. I can't vote for Trump, and I also don't want to vote for Joe Biden. And I know there's that Joe lady. Is that her name? That's like a third party that people are like, well, you could vote for her, but it's like, why would I do that? I don't know you.
Yeah, I have not heard of this third party person.
But to have two just like people accused of sexual assault as running for presidency is just mind-boggling.
Do you believe that they both did?
Yes, 100. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't heard. I mean, I believe Trump has definitely, but I have not listened to the accusations or the whole backstory behind Biden. It just seemed to come at a point where it was like, okay, this is definitely being dumped right now because of political reasons, and but I didn't even listen to it. So what is the story? Do you know what the story is behind?
I have no idea what the story is, but I just like between Trump and Kavanaugh both doing excellent in life after accusations that are most likely true, I don't see a point in why Biden would not do the same thing. There's no incentive for him not to, unfortunately.
He's just he just like bumbles. He just bumbles around, and I mean, I am more likely. So in 2016, I voted third party. I voted for Jill Stein, and
I did
actually in
too.
2012, I also voted for Jill Stein. So I never voted for Barack Obama for president. Um, but but I would be more willing now to vote for Biden more so than I would for Hillary, because I think Biden would actually listen more to the progressive wing, because I think the progressive wing is actually stronger now. It has momentum. It has AOC, and
Yeah. Yeah.
but also, I mean, I just thought I also think that Hillary Clinton was just like way more corrupt and power hungry than Joe Biden is. Joe Biden is just kind of like doing it because he feels like he should, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. There's just so much about like Hillary and Bill that is just
But you really
wild.
like Bill Clinton, though. You
I
like Bill
did love.
Clinton.
I did like, but this
So,
was
so tell your
before.
story. So tell the story, like why? Yeah. So what is your story with Bill Clinton?
I don't know why I like Bill Clinton so much. I guess from my parents, because my dad, like when I was born, is when Bill Clinton was just was president. So my parents were just always hearing about like, yeah, he did great, and like there were a lot of positives. I was like, yeah,
Well,
okay.
you saw him speak
I
though, right?
saw
And
Bill Clinton. Yes, yes.
so
I
what did
also
he?
he came whenever Hillary was running. He came to Penn State, and he's just very intelligent, and I do like that. I didn't like Hillary, but I just liked hearing Bill Clinton talk. It's just refreshing to hear intelligence.
Interesting. Yeah, that charisma, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
And he played the saxophone.
did he play the saxophone there? That would have been great.
I wish he would have. Do you know how many more people would have voted for Hillary Clinton?
If he just like came out on the stage like out of nowhere just playing the saxophone, people would have loved that.
Yeah. He didn't even have to say anything. If he just would have done a sax set.
Erin, what are some of your first memories of me? You can. What is this?
First, the memories of you. Okay. Um, oh, I remember when you lived in New Jersey and you would come over and you would stay in our basement. And I remember I was never allowed to watch Whose Line Is It anyways, but you and your family would always be watching it down there, and I would just come down and watch it. And I understood nothing. I didn't think it was funny at all
Oh
because
my god.
I was just so little. And now I watch like clips on YouTube, and it is, I wish it was still, I think it's still on, but it's not with Drew Carey. But
Yeah,
that's
it's
such a good show.
oh man,
So
so I
that,
you never told me that. I never knew that actually.
there's that. There's you waking up in the middle of the night screaming random numbers.
Wow.
Um, the Floam incident.
Okay, explain.
Okay.
That wasn't one of the first memories, but I mean it is the most it definitely
The most
sticks in my mind.
dramatic. Yeah, it really stuck to me, Kenny. So Floam was like a slime, but it had these weird like beads in it. And you could mold things out of it and play with it. And I was showing Kenny it, and he was holding it, and I was standing in front of him. And then he just takes the Floam and just presses it into my hair. And presses it into my hair. And my mom and his mom are both standing there too. And my mom and his mom look at me. I start freaking out. I'm crying. My mom is calm. Your mom is also freaking out at you for doing this to me. And my mom's calm, but I'm panicking that I'm gonna have to shave all my hair off. And then slowly but surely, your mom and my mom just pick it out of my hair. And then we went to the pool like nothing was wrong.
Yeah, we did. That was true. We went to the pool afterwards, and I felt so bad. But I was laughing. Of course, I was laughing right off the bat. And then, yeah, and then your mom like handled it really well.
Yeah.
Because like she was like, Kenny, like that was not good. And I was like, oh no, oh my God. And then my mom was just like, I don't even remember what my mom was doing. I really do not.
I don't either, but I remember her standing like in front of me.
I remember that she was helping you.
Yeah. But it came
Yeah.
out fairly easily.
You must have been like 11 or something, because I'm 5 years older than you.
Yeah. So are you saying that at 16 you thought that was a good idea?
I thought it was a great idea. I think I was probably 16. I was probably in high school. I was probably 15. Maybe it could have been 15. Yeah. When was the time that I threw the rock into the tree?
I don't remember when that was, but was our whole family there?
Yeah, that was Easter. That was an Easter weekend.
Yeah. I had gotten my LeBron James basketball stuck in a tree. Did you get it stuck or did I get it stuck?
I forget. I don't know. I don't know who got it stuck.
Why would I do that? I love that basketball. My LeBron basketball got stuck in the tree, and so we had to get it down.
It's a gigantic pine tree. It was a gigantic, huge pine tree where, like, someone threw the ball into it, and we couldn't really see it, I don't think.
Yeah. And so Kenny picked up a rock and threw it at the tree to hit the ball. Misses the ball and falls on a car because there was a car parked behind the tree.
Oh, no.
And then your dad like told us some story about how you had to call someone and then they were apparently dead when you called them.
No, I don't think that that's true, because what happened is I threw it and it hit the car and it was very close to the windshield, and I was like, thank God it didn't hit the windshield.
Yeah, and you left a note.
I did, because I went back up and I was like, really, and my mom was like, teenage brain, and I was like, yeah, and she was like, yeah, you have to leave a note. So I wrote a note down with my number, and I brought it down and put it on the car windshield, under the windshield wiper, and I left, and no one ever called me. At least that's...
No, I feel like your dad said someone called. No, why do I feel? There's a story that I have to ask your dad about what happened after that.
Maybe they called maybe what I did is I put my home number, and they called the home number, and my dad answered and dealt with it, because I don't remember ever.
Yeah.
But I don't think so, because I think my mom was like, no, put your cell number or something. I don't know. But do you remember when you came? I was just doing an interview last night. I keep saying interview. It's a conversation. I was doing a conversation last night with Jake, and we were talking about the library a lot. Do you remember any of that night?
Yes, very rare.
Very, very rare, very little. Is that what you're saying? It's okay. We don't have to go into that on the internet.
Oh no, I feel like this is the perfect time. So if Jake watches this, he knows that I'm still terrible at drinking.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So I came up to visit you and Jean, our other cousin. And
Who's
I
like
think
our uncle. Like Eugene is hopefully going to come on here eventually.
that would be
He is my dad's our dad's cousin, and he's right now he's like in his late 70s, and he's just like he's a true artist. You know, his home is actually I'm going to put the website to his what is it, eugenefedorko.com or something like that. But anyway, yeah, go for it. Sorry.
no, that's good. So we I think I had just turned 21. I feel like I had to be yeah, I feel like I was 21 when I came. Do you think that was like 4 years ago? 3, 4 years ago? That
I
had to
think
have been.
so. I think it was in the summer. Yeah, it could have been 21. You could have been 21 or yeah, I don't think it was right after. I
No,
think it was
but
21, you know,
and so
2016.
that's when you did that live show. Do you remember that? That like live Facebook thing that you did?
Oh, right. Yes, with the Führers. Yeah.
And
The live YouTube Facebook thing.
yes. And I was there, and that's when I met Jake. And then we all decided that we were going to go out later that night. I went out with Robbie early. Did I? Yes. Didn't I go out before we went out?
Yeah, from what I remember, you were walking around. I think you met up with Robbie. I don't remember, but I know that you were off doing your own thing and then you came over.
Yeah. And then we all went out drinking. And I blacked out, but I did meet an Irish guy. And I talked to him for a very long time. Don't remember anything after that, except being woken up the next morning by Kenny, like, we're going to miss your Greyhound, or, yeah, your bus.
Yeah, the mega
My
bus.
mega bus. And I did not. But I remember being so hungover on that bus ride.
Yeah, you were really, I mean, literally pushed you out of bed. Yeah. Pushed
Ugh.
you in a taxi.
That
Went
thing were
downstairs,
like,
pushed you
God.
in a taxi. Wow. God. How was that megabus ride home?
I threw up on it multiple times. And I slept. And then my parents picked me up at the convention center in Pittsburgh. And I told them that I was extremely hungover. And then they had to pull over on the side of the road in Swickley so I could throw up multiple.
No,
Yeah, like out the
no.
back window. Oh, yeah, that was
no.
the most hungover I've ever been in my life.
Oh no,
That
Erin.
was terrible.
Oh, you know what? It wasn't summertime because we walked home from the library and it was snowing. There was snow on the ground.
It was, yeah. Because
Must
I think I
yeah.
was on break. Because I was in college and I was on Christmas break. And I came up.
Oh man. Oh boy, Erin. Yeah, we've had some crazy times. Seems like every time I'm anywhere, crazy crap happens. I guess
Yeah.
that's yeah. Alex has a ton of stories too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, we should have gotten him on at the same time.
Well, we can. I mean, this isn't going to be the last time. I want to do one with him one on one, and then we could do a
Oh,
we
that
could
would
have
be
three of
so
us.
fun, the three of us.
We could get all the cousins on, do like a cousin thing and talk and stuff.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Alex, you, Alex, and myself could create Little Bunny, one carrot.
Bunny rabbit, feed me. Can't believe
That's
I
so
remember that.
stupid. That's what we used to do at sleepovers.
Man. Yeah, watch horror movies. Oh, did I tell you I just watched forget if I told you this. I watched Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie for the fourth time.
Why?
My roommate actually, I was like, we could watch Moonlight. We could watch. He was like, "How about Tim and Eric?" And I was like, "Are you actually asking?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay, you know, yeah."
You could watch Moonlight or
Yeah, I was like, it was early June, and I was like, it's Pride Month. We could watch Moonlight. We could watch and he was like, "How about Tim and Eric?" I was like, "Yes."
I like where you're thinking. I like
And
where your head's at.
I forgot just how awful.
Well, that movie is, yeah. And it never ends. It never ends.
Yeah, it's like an hour in, and you're like, "Oh my God, this feels like it's been 3 hours."
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It is entertaining. It is definitely entertaining, but you feel very dumb afterwards. You really
Yeah.
feel like your mind has been just like fucked. But
Yeah. You don't feel good after. It doesn't leave a pleasant taste in your mouth.
no shrimp, no way.
Oh, the power of the. That should be the theme for this year's Fedorko reunion. Power of the shrimp.
Hey, so is Kennywood happening? Is that?
No, probably not. Because I know Uncle Dave and them don't want to fly out from California to come back. And I don't think that many people want to be around Grandma.
Oh.
That sounded real bad.
I know. Yeah, a lot of people just don't want to deal with Grandma. I know that's not what you meant.
The family would rather not reunite than see Grandma.
Yeah, yeah. I guess probably Thanksgiving will be the next time that we all get together. Maybe.
Probably Christmas, because last year everyone came for Thanksgiving. So this year everyone will come in for Christmas. Because I think
I gotta check the schedule. My schedule. Because I came back for Christmas this last year, and yeah, I'm gonna have to see. I really would love to come back.
Yeah. That would be fun. That'd be so fun.
Just the whole crew, and now with Renee having Lucy and Heather having her baby soon, and
Alex.
Quentin and
yeah,
so many
that's
babies,
crazy.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I just had to wish my brother a happy Father's Day the other day. And I was like, what the hell is this? Jesus.
He was like, "Thanks, Erin."
He sent me a picture of his baby and said thanks. I was like, it's all right. You've kept him alive this long. Good job.
Quentin. His diet consists of Reese's Puffs and
Velveeta.
Velveeta. Velveeta. Oh, what else? What else can we? Do you have a question?
A question. Oh, well, this is a real,
Go for it.
because how I was saying that we should start a podcast and just analyze, just not even analyze, but really just learn about everybody in our family. I feel like that would be great. But do you think that there is a history of mental illness on the side of the Fedorko family?
Oh, that's a great question. That's a great question.
On my mom's side, I know that anxiety, depression are rampant.
I don't think mental illness. I think I think there's an interesting, I think the two things. One is that I think there are a lot of, at least on grandma's side, there are a lot of women there who, on that side of the family, who just haven't gotten married at all, right? There's Mary Elizabeth, Jane, Mary Ann, who was Jane's sister who died, in 2001. Um, and then, I mean, Joanne, it's almost like it was, I mean, and then Annie and Lizzie, they haven't gotten married. They're not. So like that whole side, that's interesting, right? So they haven't
Yeah.
just that's not anything to do with mental illness though. That's just an
Yeah.
interesting independence or something. I think our family really, we have trouble communicating, like when something is going to happen. Not many people like dissent or like add, um like no one is like, oh wait, hey, what about this alternative? It's like, no, if you kind of veer away from the thing that's going to happen, like spaghetti dinner on Friday night, we're going to go over to pool party on Saturday, we're going to do, you know
Yeah.
GCU and church on Sunday. If you veer from that, uh-oh, something's going to happen. um but no, so that's a long-winded way of saying I don't see any mental illness. What are your thoughts, perspective of that?
I don't know. I see a lot of, well, just in my dad, I see a lot of anxiety.
Oh,
So I was wondering, because I have anxiety. My mom, I don't know, probably does. But my grandma on my mom's side does. And I know my dad has it, but undiagnosed. But like you could just tell from things he does and how he acts that like there's definitely some anxiety going on there. So I
you
was just wondering
if I saw that too.
you could tell grandma has anxiety.
So,
She works,
like, what does that mean? Like that anxiety, like, yeah. What are your? Could you
I don't
explain that a little
know,
more? Yeah.
just
Like, what is your anxiety? What is that for you, and how does it affect you?
well, like constant worrying, like constant just thinking of ways things could go wrong, overthinking a lot of things. Like your brain really doesn't ever stop. So like when I'm doing something, I'm like, oh, is this going to go wrong? Maybe this is going to go wrong. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Like it's very hard. And I have like a lot of panic attacks for um randomly. Like I'm not allowed to drink a lot of caffeine or else I'll like go into a panic attack. Like I've been advised not to do like stimulants because I can like make you feel like you're having a panic attack, which can induce you into one. But I don't know, like with my dad, like if he has to do certain things a certain way and he gets like real almost like agitated when like something big is coming up. Like he always like if we're like having family over, like he has to clean the entire house, like he has to do this and this, and if he can't do it, then you could like tell that he's starting to get agitated. And that's like a lot of anxiety is like if things kind of start not happening the way you need them to happen, you get agitated and start like snapping out a little bit and getting grumpy. So I see that in my dad because
Does
he's
that?
usually never like he's like the most calm person. So when something is agitated, like you could tell
Yeah,
there's like a
it's
shift in his.
uncharacteristic of him, right? Like,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like that same kind of agitation manifests itself in you, or does it go
Yeah,
with
because
it?
I know when I'm very anxious and like I'm trying to do things a certain way and people are telling me to do it a different way, then I can like snap out. Or just like if I'm getting or if I feel like I'm being bothered while I'm trying to do something, then I can get snappy. But that's yeah.
Mm. I,
That's what.
I think there's some mental illness issues on my mom's side of the family, um, which is like a whole nother. I mean, that's a whole nother
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
um, yeah, it would be actually really interesting. I don't know if I will be able to get my mom on here, but like that'll be a whole conversation. I think
Yeah.
would be interested to because I think I don't know. Yeah, what's interesting is like the Fedorko side of the family for me, which is my dad's side, is like like that whole family is very much put together in terms of like going to work, you have a job, like I mean put together in a traditional sense.
Yeah.
But like on my mom's side, it's really all over the place. Like one of my mom's siblings is like nose to the grindstone, another one is just kind of like doing a bunch of odd jobs, and then there's my mom who like kind of just squeezes by, by the skin of her teeth for in a lot of respects.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's that. There's a whole book there, really, um,
Yeah.
that I would love to write. So,
How's your
um,
book?
oh,
Your
I
short
don't.
story.
Yeah, it's coming along. I have been, I've been just, I have so many projects, Erin. It's like I was telling Jake about this yesterday. Is like I have, and my mom has always said this too. I was talking to her yesterday. She's like, you always have so many irons in the fire. It's really hard for me to actually get the motivation do to like to sit down and write 3 pages a day, for that story. Um, and it's developing, and it's but there's some like I would just really prefer to be on here talking to people that talking to people and
Yeah.
and connecting people and stuff like that. And so it's coming along, but this is really taking priority right now in my life, probably for the next week or so. And
Yeah.
then the thing that I've really been loving is I've been just like getting up early and exercising every day. And like the other day, I biked. Yesterday, I biked like 9 miles in the morning, and I just love that. Just that's
There
just so much fun.
there's a book I'm reading and it's called Atomic Habits because
Atomic
I'm
habit.
trying to like I have a lot of bad habits that I'm just trying to see if I can actually change. And this book is so I'm only on chapter like 2 or 3, but it's a book that I had to like put down after reading a chapter and like write about, which I've never really like had with a book before. So it's taking me a while to get through it, but I feel like it's probably one of the most useful books I've read.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll post that. What do you think about it? Like, are you identifying what the habits are that you don't want anymore in your life, or
Yes. So I'm learning like the things that I want to change. Like I want to become more of a morning person. So like some of the tips that he um is giving is that like first you have to identify like what type of person you want to be. And I've like have been stuck on this question for like 2 weeks now. Is like how can you just ask that question at the end of a chapter? It's just like what type of person do you want? I don't know. There's a lot of
Hmm.
things I want to be.
So,
Like, do you
well,
know?
this is great. Well, so actually, let's get into it. Like, what kind of person do you want? What are the things that you want to prioritize in your life?
I want to like luckily I have like the role model of like my dad. Like that is who I want to be like.
How
Just
so?
like no one I've never heard anyone have a bad thing to say about my dad. Like anytime people find out that I'm his daughter, like they're like, "Do you know how awesome your dad is?" Like, "Oh my gosh, he's like the nicest guy. He's so funny." Like and it's like that's the type of thing like that's the reaction that I want people to have with me. And he always has the ability to see good in things that I can't. Like, I'll just constantly be like complaining about how bad this is and how shitty it is and how bad it's making me feel. And my dad just says like a bunch of positive things about it, and it makes me so mad.
Wow,
Because
interesting.
I'm like, I want him to be mad with me and be like, yeah, this is so crappy and this, but my dad like flips it and like forces me to like see a different side of it. So
Wow.
that's like, so that is like what I want to be.
So
Is
you
just like my dad.
you want to, so in this sense, you want to be able to see the silver lining in any situation kind of thing, like just in
Yeah,
that. I see.
because I would say that like I'm a very negative person. I don't always come off as it because like I'm always smiling and trying to make people laugh, but I have like a very negative view of a lot of things.
So where do you think
So
that stems from? Where do you think, oh, there's a bug? Where do you think that stems from? And yeah, and
I
yeah.
don't know. I had like a lot of trauma like growing up, so I feel like that is like what probably that stems from.
Like from in school, you're saying.
Yeah, just yeah, and with
Well,
friends
and in
and stuff.
college. I see, yeah.
Yeah, so I just feel like that just made me have, and because I would say I always was like a happy person, positive, and then now I'm just like, man, this sucks. I don't want to do this, or why do I need to do this when I could just like I don't have the energy and the motivation and the excitement that like I used to have. So I want to
Hmm.
kind of get back to being like a more positive, productive person.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Is there a thing like in your time of like looking back in your life and stuff, like are were there activities that you did where you felt after you did them like you had more energy, or you felt like a greater sense of accomplishment for doing, like, I guess like basketball or something, I guess.
Basketball was I always had basketball as I was always known as like the athlete. And then when I quit that, I feel like maybe I lost like a big part of my identity.
Hmm.
Because like Alex was always like the smart one, the bookworm, and I was always the athlete and like the funny one. And so now I wasn't an athlete, so I was just funny at times. So I feel like that probably, because then when you play sports, you don't realize like all the things that came with it, like the discipline, like the schedule that you had, like how you had to eat, how you had to sleep, like everything. There was like so much than just playing a sport. Like it was be like you can play a sport and not be an athlete, I feel like. Because being an athlete is like a whole mindset,
Lifestyle.
a
Yeah.
lifestyle. So I think now that I like have started going to the gym again and like I get to use that, like that makes me feel athletic, and I still have to do the same things. I have to consider how much I eat, how much I'm drinking, sleeping. So that's been like a very positive thing for me, I feel like. It's kind of like getting back the identity of being an athlete without being like playing on a team and stuff.
Interesting. Yeah, do you like the idea of do you like the idea of playing on a team, or like being on a team with other people? Like, is that social element appealing to you, or do you prefer kind of doing things on your own?
I like both. There are things that I like to do that I like to challenge myself and just be by myself. And then my progress is just based on me, not other people. But like playing on a team, I loved it. Because like even if you were arguing with someone like outside of stuff, you still had to learn to get over that for when you play in a game, that you can't be thinking of that. Like you have to shift your mind to be focused on everyone else. Or if something was bothering you, like you can't like be in your feelings and let that affect your game. Like you have to, it's like a collectivist thing. Like you have to all be on the same page and the same mindset or else it doesn't work. So that was like challenging in its own sense. So
Wow. Yeah, I'm sure there are some places that do uh, like recreational basketball or like I don't, are
yeah,
there?
there are, but I haven't found anything. But I do every Monday. I do play angle ball with a bunch of people from like a church up by where JT lives. So
Hmm.
I've
What
been
is
like
what's
back in
angle
the.
ball?
It's kind of like
Never heard of it.
ultimate frisbee, but with like a baby soccer ball, and there are two tall posts with a giant ball on top of them, and you have to knock the ball off. And it's very fun. That's a terrible description of angle ball, but it's very fun.
I'm gonna check it out and then post a
Yes, oh my
thing of it.
gosh, and it's so fun. You just get to run around, and I don't know, it's a good socializing thing because I work a lot, so it's nice to have like on my day off, that's what I get to do.
Could you talk a little more about like your job?
Yeah.
And because I mean, to yeah, like working in a psychiatric hospital with kids is like awesome. So,
Yeah.
and how did
So
you find the job and what do you do?
so I graduated from Penn State with a psychology degree, and I wanted to work directly in the field of um, being around people that have been diagnosed with an illness or a mental illness, being part of their treatment, their therapy, just like submerging myself in it. So I found a psychiatric hospital, and I was like, okay, I get to be around the kids. I get to do therapy with them. I get to document like their behaviors and how they relate to their diagnosis. So you got to use you actually get to use what you learned. Um, and I've been there for about almost 2 years now. September will be 2 years. But on a daily basis, I just work with kids between the ages of 4 and 12. And we get to do therapy groups with them. We get to just spend time with them, help them when they freak out. We're the people that are called on to like try and de-escalate them. And yeah,
Are
it's
you
one.
are you allowed to share any stories about it without
Yeah,
saying any names?
what would you like to know?
Oh, I mean, I know some of the stories, but I guess just for the audience of
Yeah,
like in terms of like when kids like are these kids like dangerous? Are they really more bark than bite?
we have most of the kids are claiming to be something and they're not. Like a lot of kids are like, I'm so aggressive, like I beat people up all the time, that's why I'm here. And then that's not why they're here. They just try to be like cool among other like peers. And then we have highly aggressive kids that as soon as they hear the word no, they try and attack you. Or if you don't give them what they want, then they try and attack you. Um, we've had we have kids that try and very suicidal kids, so self-harm, suicide attempts, like all of that. So on a daily basis, you could get attacked, you could have to try and save someone's life pretty much because they're trying to kill themselves. Like it's a high alert job for sure.
Wow. I was going to ask you a question. I forgot what I was going to ask you. Um, yeah. Oh, shoot. It'll come back to me.
Yeah, your dad actually was like, I would love to just be able to shadow you for a day and just see what you do. And I was like, I wish you could. Like, that would be so fun.
Oh, I remember now. Oh yeah,
Oh,
it would be great to. So is there how can you tell the difference between a kid who's just bluffing, being very aggressive versus one that is actually, or is it?
yeah, because most of the kids that say they're like this aggressive and talk about it, that's like the first sign that they're not.
Hmm.
If they're like bragging about it, they're usually not that. The kids that are aggressive are the ones that you least expect it usually. They're not the ones that are showboating it and like trying to make you think that there's something. They're the ones that are like quiet and reserved, and then like at the flip of a switch, they're attacking you or trying to hurt themselves or someone else.
Triggered. Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, when you talk about it a lot and try to make people think that you're something, I feel like that's when you can realize, oh, I bet they're not that bad.
Yeah, it
But
would
with
be.
working, yeah, like the more you work there, you really can we can read their medical histories and see why they're here and get like a better understanding of like trauma that they've gone through, the other diagnoses, other hospitalizations. And when I first started, I would always try and like educate myself on the patients that I would be dealing with. But now I kind of like to go in with like an open mind and see if I can kind of figure out what they're there for. And so that I don't have like a predetermined way that I'm going to treat this kid before I go in. Because if I know that they're aggressive, I'm going to be more hesitant to like say no and like do all this. But if I don't know that they're aggressive or stuff, then I'm going to just treat them based on the behaviors that I see.
Hmm.
So it's a little more challenging to do that for sure.
Yeah, I can only imagine what it's like to. The idea of kind of going in and help like helping helping kids by just listening, by kind of getting a sense, not going in with an idea or like, oh, I'm going to do it this way, is smart because it's just you're listening more. You know, you're going with more of a flow of the
Yeah.
kids. Oh, you're walking through in the kitchen
Yes.
now?
Yes, I am. Oh, speaking of the kitchen, sorry it's getting dark. I have to find my phone charger because my phone is gonna die.
Oh, okay.
But where did I put it? But speaking of fun stories of the kitchen, do you remember when I put a hole in the wall?
Yeah, yeah, actually right there, right? Just to your
Yeah,
just right behind you.
this is the hole that I put in the wall.
When was that?
That was the year Alex got married. So was that last year? 2
2
years
years
ago?
ago. That's right. It was like right when Alex was about to get married and he
Yeah, because his bachelor party was that weekend.
That's right. The bachelor weekend and you had just run the marathon and you put a
Yes.
hole in the wall.
Yes, because I was making, I was like, oh my God, I don't even remember. I was telling you, you were in the kitchen and I was like, whoa, I can't walk. And I was like swinging between the two walls. And then I went to hit the one wall with my butt. And then I put a hole in the wall. And I like fell into the wall.
I remember that.
And it was me and my mom. And we were both like, what the heck? Because I wasn't even doing it that hard, which was the wild thing. And I just put this hole in my wall.
Oh, I love that. That's so funny.
Yep, it's every time you're around, something bad happens.
Yeah, yeah. The poor family. Oh, your parents are just the best. They really are. The
Yeah.
Funs, Uncle Fun, Aunt
Oh,
Fun.
they're definitely the fun. Yeah.
Are they working right now? They must be working.
My dad's over grandma's house doing something. I don't know what. And my mom is working.
They're gonna buy that Sisson property. They're gonna. Your dad has
Yeah.
your dad
Yeah.
talked about it?
Yes. We went down to Alter Genius. Do you know that they put a bar or brewery in downtown Ambridge?
Yeah, that hot dog where the hot dog shop used to be, right?
Yes, it's so nice. Yes, I love it. My mom, dad, myself, and JT all went. And we just sat outside and drank. It was so nice. It was so nice. But I was asking my dad if they were going to buy it, and he was like, yeah, I'd like
Wow.
it. I was like, yeah, and he wants to put a tiny home there. Build a tiny house.
That'll be great too. So whenever like the 30 Fedorkos show up, there's like at least
Yeah.
another house with beds.
Yeah. So that's his idea of what he's going to do with it.
Man,
The tiny house.
I want to go and check that bar out because that's right across the street from the ice cream shop too, which is
Yes.
that's like an
Yeah.
ideal spot.
When you come back, we'll have to go there.
Oh, just like hang out. Yeah, that'll be good. Do you have any
Yeah.
other any other thoughts or questions or
I don't think so. Thoughts, questions.
no more thoughts in your head? No more.
Nope. Nope.
All out. Yeah, me too. Me too. I don't think there's really anything else to talk about.
No, we talked about all our horror stories.
Yeah, get it down so that in 50 years we can look back and your kids will be like, "Oh my gosh, Mom, look at you! You look so young."
I'll be on my 600-pound life in 50 years. And I'll be like, wow, Mom, you were so skinny. What happened? What?
Really let yourself go, Ma.
Yeah, because I had kids.
Oh, I watched this really good show, Erin. Did I tell you about it, right? It's called Dark.
No.
Oh my God, it's the best show on Netflix. The first two seasons came out. I watched the first two seasons last summer, and I was just like dying to watch this other show. This season, the final season came out just a few days ago, and it is just so smart. I mean, it's very confusing. It's really
What's it
confusing.
about?
So I'll tell you the synopsis of like the first episode because I don't want to give anything away. But it's a German show and it's like set in this small town where one of the kids, they're like 5 or 6 kids in the beginning. One of the kids goes missing after like two other people have also gone missing, and a dead body shows up. And a dead body shows up that isn't one of the missing people, and the police determine that actually that boy that shows up that's dead died 33 years before, but it looks like the body is fresh and just died right now. So there's like, yeah, it's like it's a mystery sci-fi thriller that's just like really really very, I think, the smartest show out there.
Yeah. Speaking of Netflix, I don't know what in me made me watch it, but I just watched a Louis C.K. stand-up.
Oh, did a
Like an
new
old one. It was an
okay.
old one.
So what do you think? What do you think of Louis?
I don't know. I have mixed feelings because like before all this happened, he was one of my favorite comedians. Then he denied what he did, and then he came out and said that he did. And then he had a really shitty apology. And then he like without notification did that like underground comedy tour. He came out one night without like telling anybody and like just made a bunch of insensitive jokes again. after not apologizing like appropriately, I would say. And now I don't know. I don't know.
This
It's
is
a tough
where,
situation.
yeah. I mean, yeah. All of this is very difficult, right? Because it's like, and we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
And and I think that what he did was definitely not great, definitely not good. It was
Yeah.
wrong, right? And but it's also like his comedy is just so smart, and
Yeah, but
he
like
has
if the
such
person
good
behind
well,
he does, but if the person behind it is actually like a, I don't know, because I've been really into Dax Shepard lately, and that is like my go-to guy. He said that like him and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, they were doing an interview, and they were talking about this exact thing. Is like, can you support someone that has done horrendous things? And Dax Shepard, like as a kid, was like molested, but he says that like anytime Michael Jackson's on, like he's singing along, he loves it, even though he knows Michael Jackson has done like similar things. So I don't know. Like I feel like I don't know. If he would have had a genuine apology and
yeah.
would have if he would have handled it way better, I feel like then he could have came back.
This is
But
yeah.
he
I agree.
just like, he messed up once, well, multiple times. And then if he would have been sincere in an apology and like came up with a plan, because I was reading something and it was like, how do we allow people to grow and like actually apologize for things that they've done and show that they've actually grown from it and learned and are better people now? Part of it is like identifying what you've done wrong, like making an apology, but then making a plan and like vocalizing a plan going forward. And he did, I feel like, none of those things.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Aaron. You know, I think yeah, I think because he came down to Sarasota in like November or something, maybe October, and I went to see him. I actually went to see him in a stand-up comedy thing down here, like his underground tour here in Sarasota at McCurdy's,
Yeah.
sold out show. And I was like, I'm really interested to see how he talks about this, you know, and he didn't really. He did not. His comedy was like really uh dark, the darkest stuff he's ever put out, and I was laughing my ass off, to be completely honest. Like I was laughing, but but he's really funny and there's no doubt about it. Now the
Yeah.
thing is that now I respect him in that way. I respect him in a sense of his comedy is so smart, so specific, and he listens to the audience so well and times his stuff so perfectly that
Yeah.
he's a master at his craft. But I think that he really dropped the ball. Like he is one of the only people that I think that could come out and have a really good um a really good he could come out with a very articulate and heartfelt
Yeah.
apology that could really resonate, you know?
Well,
And he
my,
dropped the ball on it. He didn't do it. And for that, like, you know, I guess at this point I'm not really interested in seeing his other things.
yeah.
And
And
I
like
don't think I'll support him, but I can't deny his
that,
mastery.
yeah. And he's said so many profound things on so many other issues, like equality and treating people right before all of this stuff came out. Like from his he had a TV show, right? Didn't he, Lou?
Yeah, he's
Like,
had a few. Yeah.
and I know that like a lot of and he has kids, and I know a lot of the way that like they were just like things that came out about him before this incident about like how he teaches like his kids equality and fairness and things, and he was able to articulate himself in those instances, but then now when it came to an apology, he wasn't able to say anything. Like that makes it insincere. It's like, okay, so you're claiming to be a good person by doing all these things and saying all these things and teaching all these lessons, but then you sexually assault people and have nothing profound to say. Yeah. And now one of my other favorite comedians, Chris D'Elia. Do you know
No.
Chris, do you know Chris D'Elia?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh. Well, Chris D'Elia, he was one of my favorite comedians, and he was on one of my favorite TV shows, well, Netflix shows called You, and he played a child rapist on the show You. And now it's been coming out that he like has been grooming young girls and using his fame to get young girls to sleep with him, and a lot of accusations are being made at him, and it is just frightening. And the same's being said with Ansel Elgort.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, no. Dude, that guy, I never really liked that guy. But that's sad.
Yes.
The guy from Baby Driver, right?
Yes. But my thing is, like, I'm now glad that we're in a point where people are feeling
getting called out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, but he's okay, great. He's not the guy you thought he was from knowing him from nothing. Like, people just assume that they know people because they follow them on Instagram or like their art. And it's like, you don't even know what they're doing in their everyday life. Like people are saying, oh, but he has a long-term girlfriend. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah,
like
people are married and are like have other lives where they're like,
like Ted Bundy had a girlfriend and she didn't know what he was doing. So I highly doubt you know what this famous person is doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's good we live in a time where now these people are getting called out.
Yeah.
I've always been interested, and I don't want for it to come off like I think that these people are justified in what they're doing, or that everything that they did was,
Yeah.
is wrong and hurtful and but I wonder, if you live a life that's, let's say, you live an extremely virtuous, I'll just kind of give like more of a specific example, I guess. Like you live like a very virtuous life for like 40 years. Let's say you live like a 40-year life where you are just kind and you give, and then one day when you're 40, on your 40th birthday, you drink a little too much and you decide to drive home and you accidentally run over a little kid, drunk. That 10 seconds of your life literally will turn everything upside down. It's crazy how those few seconds can, like, if a person chooses, like Louis C.K.'s case, like let's say he only did it once, which he didn't. He did it multiple times.
Yeah.
But let's say he pulled out his dick once and started jerking off in front of this, in front of someone one time, and then that blew up into a social media. Like, should that person be viewed as an awful person if that's one of the only few bad things that they did? Not saying that.
Yes.
Saying that they never did anything wrong before, but hypothetically.
But for the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
My dad and I were talking about this when Kobe Bryant died. Because everyone was talking about like how a great person he was and like how he did all these great things and like how he was one of the best basketball players. And yes. And I was trying to tell my dad, I was like, I think that people should be praising Kobe for the basketball player that he was. That's what people should be mourning about and missing. But like, he sexually assaulted someone and he settled it. And whenever I feel like a famous person settles something, I feel like that is almost being guilty. Because like, if you have all the resources, you have the money, you have the power, and you're choosing to settle instead of go to court and fight it, that shows me that something is bad.
Yeah, that shows like Harvey Weinstein, right? Like that.
Yes.
That's what that makes me think of.
And that's what happened with Kobe Bryant, is that he settled, he paid the lady, whatever. And that was like really hard for me, like, because I love basketball. Like, I respect Kobe for the basketball player he was, but people that were saying that he was such a good person, I was like, I can't get behind that. I can mourn him for the basketball player that he was, but I can't say that he was a good person. You can't say he was, but so many people were. And I was like, are we just forgetting? And my dad was like, well, what should he have to do? Like, when can you forgive someone? And like, when I was like, well, if you do a crime, what is the punishment for raping someone? When they pay that price and they don't do it again and continue to go on the up and up, I feel like that is when you can start to see that someone, like Michael Vick is my favorite example. Michael Vick, he got arrested for dogfighting. He went to jail. He had to go to counseling. He had to do a bunch of stuff. Never did it again, and has been a positive person since. So I feel like
that's kind of the model road. Interesting.
And like, a lot of people were giving him shit whenever he was a Hall of Fame coach or something. I don't remember. For the Pro Bowl, he was like a coach or something. People were real pissed that they picked him. And I was like, there are people that beat their wives and murder people in the NFL, and we're worried about Michael Vick, who did his time, more time than any person who has done something, donates money to prevent what was happening that he did. And he even admitted, he was like, this is normal. Like, dog fighting was normal to him. That was his life. Like, that is what he saw growing up, and that is what he did. That is what people did. And I'm not saying that makes it right, but
he reformed himself, right? He went through,
that is when you can start to forgive people and see the change that they've made. But like Kobe, like, what did Kobe? When you have that much money, you don't, like, why didn't he do? Like, why did nothing bad happen to him? Like, people got over it pretty quickly.
And that also brings up the idea too of like, is it a legal court that should decide what the right punishment is, or is it the court of public opinion? You know, at least for things like the Me Too movement, or you know, for someone like James Franco, right, who like was called out by a few women for being creepy and but like nothing happened to him. But the court of public opinion, you know, was like, hey, you know, he should be held to account, but there wasn't really any evidence. But you could definitely see James Franco doing something.
Yeah.
But you don't know. I mean, and I think that a lot of cases are very similar to, I would say that a lot of the cases are kind of like the James Franco incident, or like the Aziz Ansari incident, you know?
Yeah.
Well, which I kind of forget a few of the specifics, but like it's in a very gray area, and there needs to be some kind of, I haven't heard any kind of any news on like reforming how to find these people guilty. Have you? Or
no? But do you know who Ronan Farrow is?
Oh yeah, that's Woody Allen's daughter.
Son.
Oh, son,
Son.
son.
Son. Yeah. Well, he did. I keep bringing up this podcast because I keep learning a lot about people because he interviews like a lot of good people. And they interviewed Ronan Farrow, and he
Now,
was like
which podcast is this? What is
the
Armchair?
armchair expert with Ronan Farrow, and he was talking about because he did a book exposing Harvey Weinstein. He is like a journalist that has got like a lot of public like he got into a lot of issues with the public because of his book with he exposed a lot of people. And he was like, with the Me Too movement, it's not about that we believe everybody, but we investigate everybody. He was very into like the way he was just saying it was very good, because they were saying like how Dax Shepard was like, well, how do we know that women aren't just lying now to get publicity or fame from people? And he was like, well, that's why like you don't always believe everything, but you investigate everything. And I was like, wow, that's like a good way. Yeah. Because it doesn't take away from women speaking out. It doesn't shed them in a negative light for trying to speak out, but it does determine between people who have actually been assaulted and people who have not.
Yeah, it takes the people who are risking it. It takes them seriously, while also providing due process for the people and allowing innocent until proven guilty, right? Like it helps. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Armchair experts. Wow, I've never heard of this podcast.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I listen to it every day.
All the time, yeah.
Yeah. He interviews so many good people. And they're like he interviewed Drew Carey, and it was one of my favorite podcasts. I laughed so hard. I love Drew Carey now because of it. It's so good.
Didn't he marry like a 22-year-old woman or something? Drew Carey?
Drew Carey?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I know that someone that he was engaged to got murdered.
Oh.
I
think that was her, actually. Yeah, I think that was probably her. It was like a 24-year-old, 26-year-old like assistant or something.
Yeah, like and 50. I think and they got
Yikes.
Yeah, and I think she got murdered.
So, what do you got planned the rest of the day?
Nothing.
Yeah, day off.
Yeah, it's my day off, so I'm doing a whole lot of nothing. I'm probably gonna read and listen to Armchair Expert.
I'm gonna post. I have like a list of things here that I'm gonna post onto the description. Is it DAT Shepard?
DAX Dax.
Dax.
Dax Shepard. Yeah, he's I like him a lot. He's just like a really good interviewer.
Is there a question that he had? Like, what makes him a good interviewer?
Just the way his insight on things, and the questions that he asks, and the conversations that they have. Like, it's very, very good. And like, he's one person that if you have differing opinions, he's not like yelling or chastising someone. He legitimately lets people have their beliefs and doesn't really criticize them. He may bring up points to counteract what they're saying, but he never like says you're wrong. And I don't think this is, because Jim Gaffigan was on one of his episodes. And Jim Gaffigan is like very Christian or religious, and Dax Shepard is not, and their conversation on religion was so good.
Wow.
Just so good. Just like, and that's what I like, is that it's just so interesting.
The Jim Gaffigan one you were talking about, what other, which, well, maybe I'll just do the Dax Shepard and then I'll just put that because instead of doing the individual ones, I'll do Jim Gaffigan. And was there another one that you remember you said that was the best one? Oh, Drew Carey.
Yeah, Dax interviewed Drew Carey. Jim Gaffigan was good. Who else? There was another good one. Ashton Kutcher was a very good one because they talked about like human trafficking because Ashton Kutcher does a lot to stop human trafficking. That was very good.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good people. He interviewed Dr. Phil.
Hey, your best friend.
And my man. And then he interviews like a lot of he interviewed the surgeon, like the Barack Obama's Surgeon General.
Oh, interesting.
So there's a lot of good people that he did Bernie Sanders' financial advisor person.
Kelton, Stephanie Kelton. I know, yeah. I know, yeah.
And
Yeah, I know everyone that I know like pretty much Bernie's whole cabinet, his own inner circle.
He did a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. That's what I've just been doing.
All right, last question. If you could interview one family member of ours, who would you interview?
Oh, that's hard. There's a few. I think Uncle Dave.
Me too. I was going to say that.
But also Uncle Jim.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can I ask you why? Why those two?
Uncle Dave because he's traveled. I don't know. He just when you can have a good conversation with him about anything. That's who it would be. And apparently he and my dad didn't get along at all growing up.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes. My dad threw a vacuum cleaner at Uncle Dave. So I would like to know more about that. And then Uncle Jim, I would like to, I don't know why, Uncle Jim. Because we're very different, the most different. So I feel like that could be a way for common ground. I don't know. Yeah, that would just be interesting to see like where his thoughts and beliefs stem from, as from someone like Uncle Dave.
Yeah, I mean they are both what Uncle Dave calls himself libertarian, right?
Yeah.
And Uncle Jim really does. We don't really ever. I mean, we know that he's kind of more conservative, but he never really talks about it.
Yeah. That would be cool if you could get them all on. The siblings.
That'd be so interesting. Yeah, just like the six of them.
Yeah, and then you could do like you could Google like or just learn about the birth order. All the like theories behind birth, like the firstborn, secondborn, and see if they hold up.
Oh, that's a good idea. Erin, you should do it.
Because my dad and I were starting to talk about that. As I was like, the birth, because for my brother and myself, it's very true. Like, Alex is like a very, like, more quiet person. He thinks things through better. And, like, the second kid is, like, wild, social, all that. So it, like, I can see that being true for Alex and myself. But I don't know if that would be true, if any of that held up with them.
It holds up with Rustic and Nazar, at least in that sense too.
Yes, like Alex and Rostic are similar, and me and Nazar are very similar.
Yeah.
In ways.
Yeah, Nazar. Yeah, and Nazar is so. he has kind of a similar kind of like free spirit kind of
Yeah,
crazy thing going on, you know.
yeah.
His hair is long too.
I know. I don't know what the that is.
Yeah, it's long. That's almost, I think, longer than his hair is definitely longer than mine.
Oh yeah.
But he's young still. I mean, he's what, 16, 17.
Yeah.
So, but okay. Well, I think
That's what you can do. Get all those siblings on there and find out if that holds up with them.
I'm gonna see. Yeah, that would be interesting, right? Like checking that out.
Yeah.
I'm kind of nervous for the family to see this YouTube channel because yeah, you know, a lot of the conversations I'm swearing and I'm like, you know,
Oh,
I'm just well, or I mean,
they can't be that surprised though. I feel like you and I have been like the first. No, Gene technically I feel like would be.
yeah.
But I feel like with us, like we just threw a curveball.
I think, you know, yeah, I think my dad would start like watching one of them, especially the one with Jake. I think the one with Jake is like my fan. If the family watches it, they'll be like, oh, you know. But you know, talking about the bar and talking about like going out and stuff like that. It's
Yeah,
yeah, but also like I don't know. This is just me kind of putting myself out there, and I have really nothing to hide. You know, I
yeah,
so it's all for good reasons. You know.
yeah. When's Lucas gonna be on? That's the one
Oh,
I'm looking forward to.
oh my God, Lucas. I've not told my college friends about it yet because I know that crazy stuff will happen as soon as I tell them. So yeah, I'm gonna hold off for a little bit and then uh yeah, and then you
Ease
guys,
into it. Ease into it.
if anyone won't do it, Lucas. Lucas won't. Lucas will
Are
be
you
like,
serious?
yeah, he'll be like, oh, the NSA is gonna fuck me or something. You know, like they'll come down on me or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
but I think I can get him on.
Yeah. Who's next on your list?
Right now I'm probably gonna do a stranger or two actually. And then I've got some friends from elementary school that I'm sifting through right now. So
You know who also would be good? Ryan Edmondson.
yeah, yeah,
That would
Ryan.
be a good.
Yeah, yeah, man. I don't really know Ryan really well. You know.
All I know is that at one point he was president of the fraternity at Penn State that got shut down because that kid died from drinking too much. And that's what I know.
Oh God.
And on that, I say, fuck fraternities.
Yeah, yeah, right. Greek culture.
They're,
Uh,
yeah,
well,
being an,
you were in
I
one.
was in a sorority. Yeah, stupid. Like, just, I don't. It all sounds good. Like, it does look good on resume. It gets you more involved with, like, other organizations. It's a way to meet people quickly. And it's a way to, like, find a place where you fit in when you first come to college. After that, it's just wild. It's so time consuming. They tried to tell me and my best friend, that's still my best friend, that we hung out too much and that we couldn't hang out that much because she was the president at the time and it showed me favoritism.
Was this Sarah?
Yes, like what, like, and then if you did something bad that they didn't like, you could go to standards board where they have other sisters read, like another sister could send you in for something they didn't like or thought that you were breaking one of the rules and they could like fine you. And I used to be like afraid to get sent there because like you had to talk to people about why you were here, why it's an issue, what the penalty is. And now I look back on it and it was like, why was I so afraid of a bunch of people that have literally no power over my life.
Well, you know why? Is because in that moment they did have some power, or you felt like they had power. Like
Yeah, well,
that's
it's
the
like you were told that they do.
right.
So and it's like that. I got sent one time because on my Snapchat story there was a picture of a bong. I wasn't smoking out of it. It wasn't in use. It was a picture of a bong, and they told me that made the sorority have a bad image. And I was like, that's the bad image when most of you are like going out and getting trashed every weekend at fraternities? Like, what the fuck? It was so just stupid. Stupid. Like, I was in charge of the philanthropies to make us look good, and no one wanted to do them. No one actually wanted to do good. People went because they wanted to meet.
Oh, you froze. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, hold on. You there?
Oh,
It's
mouse
okay.
can't go.
It's
There
okay.
you
You
are.
good? All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. It just exited out, and then. So you were saying people don't really want to do good; they just want to like.
Party and stuff. Yeah.
So, uh,
And then they tried to tell you that you had to go to the parties. Like, you couldn't not go. And I was
social
like,
pressure.
those were not people I wanted to hang out with. Like, the guys in fraternities were not people I wanted to hang out with. There was like one fraternity, and it was for engineers, and they were all a bunch of nerds and were really funny and like didn't give off like rapey vibes. Like, so like you could go there and drink and be like relaxed and not worried. But at other fraternity houses, it was like, this is disgusting. I can't drink here. I have to watch my drink at all times. Like, who are these people? Like,
It's terrifying. That's not
yeah,
fun.
no. And then like and then I was told like I had to go, and I was like, I don't really want to.
It's interesting, like why women, why anyone, like feeds into a culture like that, or like women that are interested, and women and men that are interested in men that are in a culture where like date raping is like pretty common. You
Yeah.
know, is it? I think it's people choose the love they feel like they deserve, and also like maybe they're like, oh, like this is my college experience, like when else am I gonna get drugged at a
Yeah.
party, I guess, right?
And
I
it's
don't know.
also like that's what you're taught to believe college is when you watch a movie. What do you see college being? A place where you go to parties and you do cake stands. Like, that is what
Yeah,
you're
you do
perceived.
stupid stuff, right? Exactly.
So now you think that is what college culture is like, and that's what you need to be part of to have a fun time at college, when you don't. Because my senior year, I did a research project on fraternities and rape. And when people don't understand like how much fraternities target women to get intoxicated at their houses. Like, there's a lot of times where men have to pay to drink, but women don't have to pay. There's themes where it's like gym bros and yoga hose was one of the themes. Like, they don't, like, how can you have a theme at a party and then say that you respect women when the theme is gym bros and yoga hose? And women can drink for free, but men have to pay.
Huh. Yeah.
And they try and target women to come more so that like they want the ratio to be more women
Women than
than
men.
men.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you remember like, is there a like a website or like an organization that I could post about like about this
I
stuff?
I don't remember, but I just remembered like I had to read like a lot of like scientific articles about that kind of stuff, and it was just very eye-opening,
Mm.
just because it's a
Everybody.
lot of things you overlook as being normal, and then you realize like after, like whenever I stopped being in my sorority, I was like, oh, that's so toxic. It's so toxic.
God. I'm gonna look up some organizations and maybe and post that in the description below.
Yeah.
Oh, Erin, well, this was like awesome.
This was good. This was a good one. I'm very proud of this.
Yeah, me too. This is gonna be a good one to show the family and
Yes, at our next family event, we'll just play this.
yeah, we'll play. Yeah, at Uncle John Edmondson's like big
Oh,
TV. This will play
yes.
at Christmas time.
You're like, okay, well now you're gonna watch Kenny and I talk about how much we hate all of you. Now we're gonna go down the line and just say one bad thing about each
About
family.
every family member. Oh my God. No, I blend in better. I blend in better than maybe you do. I don't know.
That would be so good. I'd love that. We should do a Fedorko family roast at Christmas. Like, you know how we always play like charades or something? We should do a roast where we just have to roast everybody in our family.
God, that would be dangerous. That's really dangerous. But fun.
There it is. There it is. There's the fun part.
Gotta check it out. Okay, I'm gonna go eat something.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, I love you.
Hey, I love you.
Okay. I'll talk to you soon, all right? And I'm gonna send this video, I'll send this video to you in an email.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.